There's this saying in Romania, which is a saying that can only happen in a nation that benefited from communism, which is the complete control of every single aspect of a person's life by the state. And that saying is that if the government decided tomorrow to start a new institution that would teach babies how to walk. So imagine this: you have a child, you send them to the government at 6 months old, and you have like professionals paid by your taxes in order to teach the little baby how to walk. In 2 to 3 generations, people will absolutely believe that without the government, human beings would be unable to walk by themselves. And this is true, right? And here you have an example of this mindset. So you have this far left podcaster, Jennifer Wells, which is blasting homeschooling as trickle down stupidity and a fundamentally crazy Christian problem. It's interesting because in the beginning it was the left that was homeschooling children the most because they didn't want creationism, evolution, creationism, intelligent design, like all that stuff, and the whole Christianity thing being pumped into their children. So a lot of leftists in America would decide to homeschool their kids, especially during the Bush era, right? Now it's the other way around. Now it's Christians that do not want the government to indoctrinate their kids. And so like you have these individuals that absolutely either know nothing about history, or worse, they know everything about history, but they enjoy lying to people. And they're getting absolutely torn apart in the comment section. People pointing out that homeschool students are smarter than teachers. Wouldn't surprise me, by the way. This one is also interesting. Every leftist believes the same 8 platitudes that are manifestly and laughably false, yet considers themselves superior to the rest of the world. I mean, literally, this is what they do, right? Like, they surround themselves with like-minded people, and they manufacture reality, right? Like, if they believe they're smarter than everyone, and so they must be smarter than everyone, and they keep gaslighting each other. But let's see what she's actually saying, right? So, like, co-host Jennifer Welch and Angie Sullivan of the Far Left I've Had It podcast condemned homeschooling as weird as fuck. So, again, in the mind of this intellectual lady, what humanity has done for more than tens of thousands of years, which is like the default state, parents teaching children, according to her, it's weird as fuck. Now, again, I don't know why it's weird as fuck, because, like, the whole idea, it's like, what does the school have to do? It's like, prepare you to get a job, right? And so, like, if you have an exam, and you want to see, like, did the children understand the bare minimum in order to pass the exam? What the fuck does it matter if they learned it from their parents or if they learned it from school? Huh? Like, as long as they pass the test, right? Like, as long as they pass the benchmark, like, the very idea that the only possible way for mankind to have learning is through the school system is absolutely bewildering, right? So, like, learning from parents doesn't work, apprenticeship doesn't work, learning yourself by going online doesn't work, like, nothing works. The only thing that works is for the government to pay some random bitch to sit in front of children and bore the living shit out of them 8 hours a day, right? And when they go home, 4 more hours of homework and studying, and apparently that's childhood. Alright. So, the comments were in response to a caller to the show complaining about morons attempting to homeschool their children. Well, again, how are they morons if they can do literally the same job that the government does, right? Like, if there is the test, which their children has to go and take with the other children that are schooled at the public place, and their children passes, like, how the fuck are they morons? And not to mention, like, what would happen if I homeschool my kid, right? And he goes and he aces the test, and someone that went to public school gets a C or flunks? Like, what does that say between me and the teacher that, Not to mention, like, which do you think it's actually easier? To learn from your parents, so, like, you have one person that focuses their entire attention on you, or to sit in a class with 25 other kids, some of them smarter, some of them dumber, and everyone has to learn at the same pace. Which one do you think is actually better? But yeah, I guess, they're morons because you surround yourself with individuals that agree with you and never try to challenge or push you on your idiotic statements. Right, so basically he says these people that homeschool are morons, probably shouldn't have even had children to start with. See, this is why I absolutely despise is the fact that my children will actually pay taxes for this asshole. Like when he gets old, right, my kid that actually works for a living is going to have his body taken away from his family and given to this stranger by the government, and this asshole is not even going to say thank you to my child. Hypothetically speaking, not, my child and this asshole. Like, there are other assholes like him in my country, and my child is going to do that. But if you happen to live in the United States, right, like, he is going to profit out of your child's labor. And he's not going to be grateful because the government is taking the money from your child and giving it to him. So, right? I mean, this is literally how the economy works. So, he says, I just think homeschooling is a bad idea. From soup to nuts, Sullivan said. I don't care if you're a nuclear physicist. I think it's just fucking weird as fuck that you want your kids around you all day. How the fuck is it weird to have children around you all day? Okay, so like going to a corporation and sucking cock from your boss, right? And then having to deal with HR where you have a lady that looks at you like this and pretends she's your ally, but, she is just like writing reports after reports so that the company has a paper trail when they fire you. They don't have to get sued, right? And you have like all the fakeness from the corporation and we're a corporate family, right? That's not weird as fuck. No, like what's weird as fuck is like wanting to stay home and spending time with your children. Wow. I mean, sure, right. And we have like the welfare state, right? Where again, your children are being taxed so these people can have a life. And they're basically saying, yeah, it's weird for people to have many children. How? Why? I think this is what terrorizes them, is the idea that the child can be more loyal to the family rather than to the state, which pays them, right? My idea is that, no, I don't give a shit about my country. I don't give a shit about my ethnicity. I care about my family, my extended family, right? Like my cousins, my second cousins, and the people that marry in my family. That's how it always used to be, right? Like this is not something new. The French Revolution is the one that actually says that because I pay taxes and that chick pays taxes, like we're in this together. No, we're not. We're not. We're forced in it together. But at any point, I can just leave and make sure that I don't share a nation with such a person that's Jesus fucking Christ. Well, I mean, to be honest, like in America, it's actually good because you can still homeschool your kid. But like, these are the people that want you to not be able to homeschool your kid, right? They want to be the ones educating your kid. And they're not going to educate your kid to be loyal to your family, right? Anyway, she says, I don't trust someone that wants to be with their kids 24/7. I think a lot of dumb people do it because it's just easier, and that's a concern. How the fuck is it easier to sit? Does this chick have children? I genuinely wonder if she has children. Or if she does, why is she lying? Why is she lying? Because it's not easy to be with your kids 24/7. She accused parents who chose to homeschool of attempting to project a script onto their kids. Yeah, like, no, unironically, that's a good thing. That's literally what you have to do as a parent. That's why I chose to have kids, to be able to project a script onto them. And my children are going to have children for the exact same reason. Like, I don't know, like, what you want to do, right? That's fine. But how about you stay the fuck away from my family, lady? Like, you get to do whatever the fuck you want, but you're not happy doing whatever you want. Now you have to come into my life. See, this is the problem with nationalism. Like, just because you happen to live on the same plot of land as her, now she thinks she has control over you. This is trickle-down stupidity. This is MAGA on steroids. Again, take into account that leftists used to do exactly the same during the Bush era. They would homeschool their kids because they didn't want intelligent design to be pushed upon their children. This is Make America Healthy Again. This is Tradwife. This is unvaxxed and unjacked and all that shit. This is the worst. You hear it, right? Like, this is what scares her, and that's what you have to double down on. Like, if you dislike this person, this is what you can do in order to make her upset. And honestly, I actually like people like her because they're a good moral compass. You know, people talk about objective morality. I think she is objective morality. Just do literally the opposite of everything she says, and you will find success in life. You will find happiness and success by doing literally the opposite of every single take she has. The far left podcaster argued that homeschooling was part of America's fundamental crazy Christian problem, suggesting it was essentially child abuse. Again, this lady doesn't know history. Like, the original schools were insanely Christian, especially in America, right? The idea that Christians allowed you to homeschool your children, you should be grateful. But what can you do, right? I think it's a huge problem. I cannot stand these people, but then again, it's a pretty red flag when someone tells you, when you're like, what's their deal? They seem kind of awful, and I was homeschooled. You're like, yeah, I just think it's such a selfish thing for a parent to do. So the idea that just because you're homeschooling your kid, you're also like locking him up. Like, there are things like playgrounds, lady. You do realize that you don't actually have to institutionalize your children. We generally do not have to put our kids into institutions from the age of 9 all the way until they're like 25 years old and they finish university, right? This is why people don't have children, by the way. In the past, like, having a child was productive. Like, he actually helped around the house, he helped around the farm, he helped with the family business. Nowadays, you have a 25-year-old that requires gas, rent, money to go on a date. You don't have a child, you have a roommate. And so, like, most people find having children extremely expensive, and chicks like this is like, oh, the government should give me money. The government doesn't have money, right? Like, literally, the families cannot afford to pay anymore because you're then taking money away from their own children to give it to someone else. Anyway, right, talking economics with the leftist. The idea is, like, she at one point talks about how she's happy she went to school and she had opportunities that other people didn't. And it's like, listen, the reason you have so many people now with a degree unable to find a job is because you have degree inflation. Like, you do not raise people's intellect by printing degrees. If printing degrees make people smarter, then printing money would make people rich. But then again, this is a leftist. Maybe she generally does believe that printing money makes people more rich. Anyway, She then says, I'm just going to say this. It's selfish for parents to push a religion on a child. You as a leftist, I guarantee to you, would not be happy if your kid comes home religious. I have a feeling every single parent has their worldview and every single parent expects their children to share that worldview. You would not be happy if your kid comes home as an anti-vaxxer. Right? Like, this idea that these people are tolerant. No, you're not. You're just part of another zealotry. The interesting thing is that these people just cannot accept other ideologies. Again, this is the problem with, like, we're living in a nation. Like, there are individuals that just hate your fucking guts because you think differently, and they want you to think like them so they can fucking control you. Right? Listen to her podcast. Donate to her Patreon. Do not allow others to be different. And they train people. Like, this is what the podcast does. Is they're training people into bigotry. Like, they're training people to hate you because you happen to homeschool your kid. Even though you're doing nothing wrong against this lady, right? You're not insulting her, you're not harassing her, you're not making her life more difficult, but she wants to make your life difficult. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, we'll see each other in the comment section. Take care.